Who's this? Their second day? Who came yesterday? Thank you for coming. It's definitely a blast, and this has been an amazing time, and it's such an amazing turnout. And we're all, the performers and everyone is definitely enjoying it, and you are a big part of that. So thank you for attending, and hope everyone's well. So.
Right, we're going to open the floor up to you then, ladies and gentlemen. Straight away, if you'd like to ask questions, I saw one hand in hand. Please do keep your hands up as well so I can see you, otherwise I can't make psychically connect with you to find out anyone to answer. So, ladies and gentlemen.
You've done a great role on the show. How has the show actually changed your life?
It gave me a career. I wouldn't have or even be here without Breaking Bad. There would be no point, and I wouldn't have the access that I have without the show. And it's interesting because in the acting community, you hope to continue to work and move forward. And when you get a project, it's so nice, and when you leave it, you're like, what am I going to do now? But it always turns around and always continues to come back, and we were very lucky to have what we had, and it's never dull. So.
Okay, just at the
yes.
Oh yeah, will Walt Jr. appear in the spin-off series Best Call Saul?
No, sadly enough, that is a prequel. So if I was in it, I would be a baby, or I'd be in a womb. But no, I'm really excited. I know it comes out in February in the States. I think they'll quote me on that one. But I'm really excited. I know they're done filming, and I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Question in front.
Hi, what was the most awkward moment for you on the set of Breaking Bad?
I think having Brian pull up my pants was fairly interesting. Especially, I only met him twice. That was the second time meeting him, and I think it's grown men pulling up teenagers' trousers. So I think it can be a little bit awkward. Very small room, 2 men, pants down. No, camera. Thanks.
Okay, question for Dylan.
What's it like having Walter White done?
It's great. I think everyone should have a father like Heisenberg. I mean, how many parents would go to cooking methamphetamine to provide for their family? But it's interesting because it's a really, if you look at it from a bigger view, he was a father that would do anything to provide for his family and to have that impact in his family's life. And I think a lot of dads know that feeling, and especially when you're hit with a terminal illness or money challenges or so many things, and you're a father, it shows you how far are you willing to go to make sure your kids and your family have a long life, and I think Walter White is a testament to that.
Question for Jeff here.
Hello, I was just wondering if there's anything next in the pipeline that's next for you, and possibly there was some rumours about bringing back Breaking Bad. I know it was a bit of a rumour going back, but if they do come back to it in a few years, would it be open to that as well?
See, this is the thing. I don't know if what we had in the show was once in a lifetime. We would never be able to recreate what we had. No matter how much we would love to try, leaving and coming back, we can never have the exact same thing that we had with Breaking Bad, because time has gone by. But it depends on the story, and it depends on what they have. I would love to, and I miss it, but I'm happy that it's over. I'm happy that we have an ending, and that it's continuing to grow, and it's given us all different directions to look towards, and I'm working. I'm shooting on a shot a movie in August, right before August, called Who's Driving Doug. We'll see how that turns out. I shot a movie about a week ago, well, not a week ago, like a month ago, time in my world really doesn't exist. It's like time, like hours, days, weeks, months, years, they all just kind of blend together. So it happens. But I caught Dixieland. I was shooting in Jackson, Mississippi, actually Pearl, Mississippi. If everyone anyone goes to Mississippi, stop by Pearl. You'll have a very interesting time. But yeah, I'm just always working. I have meetings in London actually tomorrow, so I'm leaving tonight to go to London, and I'll be there until the 1st, I think. So we'll see. We'll just whatever. Just keep on working. That's all I can hope for. And any actor tries and wants this enough, and the goal is to continue to propel yourself, continue to push forward, continue to try to get and keep auditioning and working and honing your skill and your talent. So I can only hope to keep on moving forward.
Any questions from the person?
What was your favourite episode in Breaking Bad to record, and is there any lines that you had to say that stood out to you?
I love the pilot. The pilot is my favorite episode. I love it from the beginning, and it really, the first season is definitely my favorite season. I think the most line, I say the most when I sign a lot is Have an A1 day. That's definitely the one that sticks out, but there's so many things, and each time it keeps getting better. As we were filming the show, they kept getting better and better, and more dynamics in the characters, and it just was, we had an amazing time. We really did. I can't stress how lucky we were to have what we had, and to be able to present the quality of work that people enjoyed. And when you go and you're filming, you don't know how people will receive what you're doing, and you can only hope that people love it as much as we love filming it. And it took a little bit of time for people to catch on, but I think people understand now. So.
Questions to the side?
Thank you.
How was it an experience in such a good TV?
It was fun. I'm lucky that I had a job. You know, working on television and film is very interesting because I don't like to be me. I like to be other characters. I don't want to be me. I'd much rather be other people, and I find that working in this industry gives me that opportunity. So.
Question to the front?
Aside from the scene near the end of the series where you finally get to meet Saul in the car, which is great, my favourite scenes with yours are very much the family-based scenes. And I think I've gathered from the podcast and things that you really were like a family, obviously growing up on set. How fabulous were they as a family to work with?
It was a pleasure. It was such an amazing opportunity and an amazing group of people. We had a crew around 500 just in New Mexico. We had a main cast of 7, and by the end of it we had a main cast of 12 almost. And it was just so much happened over the course of 6, almost 7 years. I started the show when I was 14 years old. I ended the show 2021. And I learned and grew, and it was an amazing wealth of knowledge that I was able to take away from it. So.
And question for them here?
I just want to ask, you have a favourite villain?
Favorite villain? I like villains. I'm a Bane. I liked Bane, the original Bane, though, the one with all the latex and tubes. I'm so bad at names. I have tons of favorite villains that I have, but it all depends. I like a lot of DC villains. Marvel villains are, to me, I like Marvel villains, but DC villains to me are just, they have so much more character and life in their movements and their actions. So.
We have a question from the Stormtrooper here.
Hello. This is
referring back to you saying how you enjoy it and how your character goes. I can't word this right.
You're good, you're good.
Your character ends up preferring, in a way, Walter White as favourite parent. At the end of everything, the society seems to turn its back on Skylar, who would actually be in the correct logical mind in this situation. How does that affect you, like, not only you as a person, but you feeling how society actually turned against the one who was actually in the right?
Well, it's interesting. Who hated Skylar? Why? Like, she's trying to help her family the best she can without cooking methamphetamine. I mean, like, that sounds like a good mom to me. I don't know about you, but I would hope my mother wouldn't cook meth. But I think it's interesting because it's a testament to how people see an anti-hero and how people see people. And what's funny is you have a man that has killed 170 something people firsthand, not including the hundreds of thousands of people he has killed using methamphetamine, because he was making a lot of it and it was going everywhere. So when you have something like that, a destructive drug like meth, you destroy so many lives that he doesn't even know about. But I find it interesting that how people didn't like Skylar. I love Skylar's character. Skylar is actually one of my favorite characters. And Anna Gunn is truly remarkable what she did with that character, because she took a character that people are supposed to love and she gave it this twist, and it was really interesting to see how people took it. And I enjoyed what she did with it, and I love Skylar. But it's funny though, people gravitate towards hating her as much as they did, and they loved and glorified Walt in their own way without realizing they're glorifying a mass murderer. And so it's weird, but it's society today though. It's how people look. We're in a very desensitized world when it comes down to it, and not everyone thinks in logic. So.
A question for Jeremy here.
Hi, I just wanted to ask that. Why was everything in Marie's plan? Everything.
Well, I think Betsy was a little bit behind that as well. Betsy that played Marie. I think she was like, well, she was like, if Marie's gonna have a color, it would be everywhere. So it was. And it's hilarious because you walk into that house, the plates, the carpets, the furniture, everything was just purple. And I like purple, but you know, there's a time and a place when it's just too much is too much. But that's, I think Betsy is behind that. So I enjoy some bacon every once in a while. But my thing is, I never really eat breakfast. The only time I ever eat breakfast is between the hours of 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. So it's a gray area for me.
Okay, we've got a question from the gentleman here. He said to ask, when they were casting for Breaking Bad, were they looking for somebody with cerebral palsy, or was that something that they got just from your audition?
Yes, they were. They were looking for someone with a disability. My character is actually based on a friend Vince had in college. He passed sometime after, but it was in memory of him, and it practically described me. It said dark hair, big eyebrows, and mild cerebral palsy. I'm like, I got all of that covered. That's me. And I went in, and there was other people with disabilities, and I was one of them, and it was nice. It was nice to have, because having a disability is such a wealth of knowledge. I wouldn't have this job without my disability. I wouldn't be able to do what I do today without my disability. I wouldn't know how to do it without it. So I was very lucky to have it in a sense where I could grow and learn from it. And it was nice to be able to get on some crutches and just kind of pile around. There was less exercise. So. But it's funny, in my other roles though, check this out. So on Breaking Bad I was in crutches. I was working on a show called Twisted Birth on the ABC Family in the States. And I'm waiting for a call back, see if they want me to come back. But I played a character that was in a wheelchair, a hand wheelchair. And I just shot a movie not too long ago called Who's Driving Doug, where I played a character that was muscular dystrophy in a motorized wheelchair. So the next job I would really like is a coma. I'm working on it. I'm working. Just be like, I'm gonna go to work. Just pass out, go to set, go to sleep. What's the worst thing that can happen with that? But it's never dull, and it was really nice I was able to use my disability in Breaking Bad. So
I got time for just a couple more questions. We're going to start with this gentleman here.
Hi, is there one particular storyline in Breaking Bad that you wish you had more involvement in?
Yeah, I would have loved to cook some that. I would have loved to be able to do a scene in the super lab. I love the lab, man. That was my favorite. My favorite set was the super lab. It was amazing. They did such an amazing job, and a lot of it was all real equipment. So it was a shame when they tore it down. I was like, we can't utilize this. We can extend our budget by hundreds of thousands of dollars. But when they took it down, it was sad. Because if y'all haven't seen it, they blew it up. It happens. Things blow up in our show.
Final question for the young man here.
What was it like when you walked from Skyline?
You know, that was a very rough scene. And in the show, we've had a few rough scenes, but it was sad. And when he's ripping the baby away and running out the door, I feel so bad for the baby because when she's banging on the window and the baby got like freaked out. It was perfect for the scene, but we probably traumatized that child for life. But it turned out to be amazing, and it took him a little bit longer to warm up to Aaron and Brian again after that, because the scene was just so dramatic, and it was just such a harsh scene. And that's the thing about the show, is we go into these dark places, and we come out of them, and we come out fine, but it takes a toll on your body getting to that level and getting to that place of your mind, because it does affect you. It affects you as a person, and how it affects your whole day, and it can throw you off, but you have to be able to relinquish it and recover from it to go into your normal life. So when you have those scenes, it's very, very risky and dangerous, but it's so much fun. I have an affinity for tears, I like to say, because if someone's not crying in a scene, that's how you know you did a good job when someone's crying. Because it's either one of two things: it's horrible and they're crying to leave, or they're crying because it's so good and you can see it instantly. And that scene definitely made a lot of people cry. So,
ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a massive